This is the very first time I've ever shared my story in its entirety. Some parts of it are out in the world here and there, but I've always left out several details, partly because I didn't want to be judged. I also didn't particularly want to remember or relive it. Now that I have, I want to state up front that I've completely forgiven everyone in my family and beyond. I deeply believe that nobody maliciously set out to hurt me. We're all flawed human beings. We're all sinners, and we all make mistakes. I've made plenty, and we'll get into that too. I've hurt a lot of people myself, but I never had malicious intent. Like any of us, I was doing the best I could with what I had at the moment. This story comes from a place of grace, mercy, and forgiveness, and I have no ill will toward anyone. I'm sharing it so that I can help other people who might be facing similar situations. My hope is that they'll be able to read or listen to this and say, "She overcame the exact same thing that I'm dealing with. What an inspiration." I'm going to be as raw and vulnerable as I can. With that said, let's spill some tea. Chapter 1. I grew up in a big, beautiful, creepy Victorian house in Valparaiso, Indiana. Being a little girl in a big house, I probably felt it was bigger than it really was. It had no basement, but there was a cold, damp cellar with a dirt floor, and we'd go down there when bad weather or tornadoes came through. I still have recurring nightmares about it. Most of all, I remember what we called the green room, where we kept our piano. My mom was a classical pianist, and she would play for hours and hours. She was so talented, and I loved listening to her. My dad was an opera singer and an actor, also unbelievably talented. He sounded just like Pavarotti. You could listen to the two of them back to back and not tell the difference. My parents were also born in Northwest Indiana. Both my mom's parents were alcoholics, and her upbringing was terrible. Dysfunction and abuse were par for the course. My dad grew up in a second-generation Greek family, and his first marriage was to his high school sweetheart. If I remember right, after they got divorced, she went off and married his best friend. My parents met after my dad's divorce. To this day, I still don't know how or where. And my mom brought along 2 daughters from her previous marriage. My mom had her first daughter when she was 18, which led to her getting married, as that's just what you did back then. My brother was born in 1982, and then I came along a year and a half later, in November of 1983. One of my earliest memories is being 2 years old, wearing my red-footed pajamas, and hearing my mom and then 18-year-old sister having a brutal fight, screaming at one another. After that, my sister moved out, and I didn't see her again for years. My other sister was the one who mostly took care of us. She was more of a mom to us than my mom was, and for that she incurred my mom's wrath. My parents were smokers, so there were ashtrays everywhere. The wallpaper was stained from all the smoke, and the formerly white lace curtains had turned yellowish-orange. My mom had allergies, so she was always blowing her nose, wadding up the used tissue and setting it on whatever was close at hand. If there was nothing close at hand, she'd just toss it on the floor. Because she blew her nose dozens of times a day, the used tissues accumulated everywhere like snowdrifts. I grew up in absolute filth. We had a dog and 4 cats, and they had accidents all over the house. That house was disgustingly dirty from top to bottom, but I was used to it and didn't really know any better until I was a teenager. The bank ultimately seized the house, tore it down, and turned it into a parking lot. And I'm happy they did. That house was full of demons, and I still think of it as a dark and scary place. When I was 3, my parents opened a performing arts school. There was a little store attached to it where we'd sell sheet music, accessories, instruments, ballet shoes, and tights, whatever our students needed. My 15-year-old sister did a lot of the administrative work, and